Well, the weather is going to start getting blustery out there, and really we can't get out into our gardens, but what about reading a book? I'm with Tom Fisher from Timber Press, and we're going to talk about books that you would love to be reading this year, or maybe even give as a gift for Christmas. Tom, you always give us such a great selection, so what do you got for us this year?
Thanks, Judy. Well, we've got a whole bunch of exciting books coming out. First, we have The World of Laura Ingalls Wilder by Marta McDowell. If you're a fan of the Little Prairie, the Little House on the Prairie books, this is the book for you. Marta delves into the background of all of the Little House books, telling you about the landscapes, the plants, the crops they sowed, the way they lived. It's just a lovely way to get into that real world, all the things that were going on and that created the fictional world that Laura Ingalls Wilder created. And it's beautifully illustrated and beautifully written. So if you've got any interest at all in Laura Ingalls Wilder, or even want to learn about the way farmers and pioneers lived in the 19th century, it's a great, great resource.
Oh, that historical record of plants and farms is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's full of fascinating details like that.
And this is a local person right here. This
is
a great author.
Paul Bornine, who's co-owner of Zera Plants right here in Portland, who sells some of the most exciting plants that we can buy for our gardens. Paul has teamed up with Amy Campion to create this wonderful, comprehensive garden guide for everyone in the Pacific Northwest. Not just those of us who live west of the mountains, but east of the mountains as well, with plant recommendations, garden advice for the kinds of styles of gardens you can implement, growing information about the climate. It really is amazingly comprehensive and easy to follow. Now, this book won't be available until about mid-December, so you may want to go online and pre-order it if there's someone on your gift list you know might like it. But it really is a beautifully illustrated, very comprehensive gardening guide for our part of the world.
And you know, William had done a great article in our online magazine about Paul, so really you can go on that and see more information about him as a plantsman and an author. Wonderful. And then I think journaling is really important because we need to record what we're doing in our gardens and what we're seeing.
Well, it is, and it's become a very popular activity. So we've come out with 2 new journals, one for the garden lover and one for the nature lover. Nature Observed has got little prompts for your observations, calendars, hints about what you might want to look at and note down. And it's a very gentle way to get into the natural world, just stimulating your own observations and forming a record of what you've seen and experienced, which is really nice to have. And then our garden guide is got calendars, little prompts about things you can do in your garden, calendars about chores and things you want me to do, and just keep track of what you've been growing and what's been a success, what you might want to try differently, new plants you might want to experiment with. So it's a great way to get your own thoughts down there and form your ideas and plans for a coming gardening year.
And I have a lot of friends that are drawers or colorers, and so I think you could take your pencils to this too and really embellish it even more.
There are great little illustrations all throughout both guides that you can color in and have a lot of fun doing that.
Well, how fun. And so this is a really interesting one, and Bobby Schwartz is a designer from Ohio.
She is. Very well known and very accomplished. She has tackled the whole subject of renovating your garden. How most of us have gardens. We look around, we think, I could be doing that differently, I could be doing that better, I want to make this kind of change, I'm just not happy with the way it's all working. Well, Bobby tells you how to take stock of what you have, prioritize the things you want to do and change, and then how to go about it in a really logical, cost-efficient way. So if you're thinking about making changes in your garden, it really is good to have a plan. And this book will help you make your plan and really figure out the best way to affect the changes you want to make.
Oh, I see the wheels turning for a lot of people on that one.
Yeah.
And this is really a beautiful book. I love the photos.
Yeah, Debra Lee Baldwin is, of course, the queen of succulents, and succulents really are as popular as they've ever been. There's been no fall off in their popularity. So this is the 10th anniversary edition of Debra's famous book on designing with succulents. It's got more information, more photos, more beautiful gardens that feature succulents. So if you're at all curious about succulents and how you can use them in your garden, this is the book for you. Because even if some of the succulents succulents aren't quite hardy in your area, you can grow them in containers.
Sure.
And there's still all sorts of wonderful things you can do in arranging those containers and making effective compositions with them. If you're in an area where you can grow these, it'll give you fabulous ideas about how you can use these wonderful architectural bold plants, which really, there's nothing like them. They're low water, they make a beautiful, wonderful visual statement, and they just transform your garden.
Yeah, that's really a beautiful one. And then this one is the most beautiful photos on that.
This is a great book for the nature lover. The Living Forest, with photographs by Robert Llewellyn, who's an amazing photographer based in Virginia, and text by Joan Maloof, who's a biologist and founder of the Old Growth Forest Network, which is dedicated to preserving remnants of old growth forest. This book features gorgeous photographs of every aspect of the forest, the trees, the animals, the birds, the insects, and the text tells you about how all these animals and plants interact and work together to form this amazingly complex ecological web. The old growth forests are precious because they're the last little bits we have of these amazing ecosystems. And if you want to experience the beauty and the fascination of these complex systems, this is a perfect book for anyone who's got a love of nature.
Well, you know, Tom always gives us all these wonderful titles to get for our friends and for ourselves. So please go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you to Timber Press website, and you can find out where you can get these lovely books. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Judy.